Okay, today's something that's a little different, a little bit special. It is Christmas Day, and we do something that I don't really ever talk about. I've never made a video on it, and I don't think I've even really gone into detail about my Star Wars collection ever. So today we're talking about Star Wars. Christmas Day, we watch at least one Star Wars movie, but today my daughter asked to binge watch this. And so this is the complete Star Wars saga. And I got this earlier this year, and it's something that I've never opened. Because one, I have the movies, and normally my go-to for these movies are these homebrew 4K discs. And if you want to learn how to make these, make your own, we got a video about that coming soon. But these homebrew 4Ks, these are the original uncut before all the extra special features and that. So I have all the movies here, and I have some early stuff, the special feature stuff, but also part of my collection. And behind you, I didn't want to grab that out because I'm afraid of breaking the lightsaber. So you can see Darth Vader, and then I have a little Yoda little figurine that sits there. That stuff normally sits way up on the top shelf because my daughter is obsessed with Star Wars, and it's something I just don't want her to mess with because I am afraid that lightsaber will break, because that is a something that it was for the Disney store only, and you could only purchase it through the Disney store if you had a Disney store credit card. And it wasn't too crazy back then, but it's very limited, and that was the only way you could buy it. So just the fact that we have one, and then the Disney stores are no longer in existence, and that's just something that's long gone. Glad to have it, but it sits way up high with all of my other collectibles. And before we open this and dive in, this right here is what kicked it all off. So I always liked Star Wars. I always had that in my collection, and I had the movies. But this right here is a statue that, one, I absolutely love this movie. But this opening scene here when Han is looking for Luke on the Tauntaun, one of my all-time favorites. So this was like a very limited edition statue. There's only like 3,000 of these ever made, and this pretty much just kicked off my statue collection, and I started really getting into that heavy. But then I realized, one, they're very expensive, but even though I like the statues and I like some of the memorabilia, I'm just a movie guy. I love the movies, and that's where I'm really at. So I have some of that stuff. So I don't really collect statues all that much anymore, mostly movies. But that's something that, as soon as I got it, it just kind of gave me a little bit of a bug. And so I did get a couple statues, but that one right there is probably my all-time favorite. The next thing I had ever picked up was this, and it is the Illustrated Star Wars Universe. And so, I mean, separate from all the movies, but like the memorabilia stuff. And so this is Ralph McQuarrie's art for the movie. And almost everybody, when they talk about Star Wars, they obviously give George Lucas credit. But if you have not seen this artwork and you've not seen the images from this book, the art in here is all Ralph McQuarrie. And you see that, and you see most of those images inside the movies. And so then you're like, who really created Star Wars? Obviously, it was in George's head. He did the script, he did the whole thing. But as we see, like, there's some Ewok images there. But as you go into Ralph McQuarrie, like some of this stuff, there's the scene right there, the Tauntaun, just like that from the statue. And well, that one's Luke. But yeah, this is just something that, it's a lot of it is the same. There's some of the stuff, this didn't get used in the original movies. I think they used it in the newer stuff. But there is stuff in here that, it pretty much is exact. We've seen it. And so without this, you don't have Star Wars. And so the concept art surrounding the film, just pretty epic. And so this is just a book that I've always loved to just comb over and appreciate the art that's in here and what we've gotten from the movies because of this artwork. So this is something that if you are a fan of Star Wars, I recommend checking some of this stuff out. I mean, obviously it's not for everybody, and mostly I talk about physical media and Blu-rays and 4Ks and the actual movies themselves, as opposed to memorabilia and stuff. But showing off my entire collection, I figured this would be a great start. But then this right here, there was a scene in here that, one, I mean, literally right there, Jabba's Palace. So all of this art was drawn, and it was created from the mind of Ralph McQuarrie, and then we get that in the films. And so that was why I always bring up who created Star Wars. You know, there was, and then you have the thing of, I think it was a perfect storm of everything. So you have the art, the concept art, obviously everything that George did, the production company and how they built all the sets and they did that, but then the actors themselves. Without that perfect storm of everything, you don't have Star Wars at all, but this is pretty much where it starts. So definitely check that out. Check out Ralph McQuarrie's art. This isn't the only book, but this is the one that I have. Really love this one. Then we're going to open this up. We're going to dive in. And so this is right here is the unboxing of the complete Star Wars saga. I actually love this artwork. And you have Anakin, you have young Anakin, and then you have the ghost Anakin on the back side. So that's just really awesome, or Force Ghost, or whatever you want to call it. Just really, I love the artwork on it. It's very on that simple side. And this is something that I don't know if I'm going to dive into this all that much, but we have the slipcover here. So I'm probably going to maybe put this in one of those protective cases because this is something that, you know, I like it. And it's, yeah, definitely a collector's piece. But yeah, this art, I absolutely love it. I think it's just top notch. That's your backside. That's your spine. That's your front there. And then on the back of this, just gives you all the information, includes the 9 discs, all that stuff, the 20th Century Fox. There's that. So the J card's there. But this is something that I think I had to have because, one, I have a, you know, okay movie collection for Star Wars. I have quite a bit of stuff, the VHS, the DVDs, a lot of that stuff. But this is something that, for me, it is the complete saga, 1 through 6. And I know there's all those newer ones, but I've never been a fan of those. And this is something that, as you open this up, you have the Phantom Menace with some artwork there. And then the disc is in a sleeve. Now, that's not my absolute favorite, but looking at this as like a collector's piece, yeah, I can appreciate it. I really do love that artwork there. That right there. And looking at Princess Amidala, Natalie Portman, big fan, always have been. Yeah, just love that artwork. Right there's a pretty epic scene in the movie. So I'm glad to have this, and that's Revenge of the Sith. But then here we go, A New Hope. This is what it was for me. But I've been watching this movie since before it was called A New Hope. But not much before, because I found it in my early teens, but then it was on VCR tape, and so it just said Star Wars. But then it was right around that time after I had seen the movie is where it was like something, it was like a QVC was on TV, and they were selling all this merch, and you know, the whole I don't know. It was Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was on the show, and then they were talking about Star Wars, and they had all this Star Wars stuff to sell, and that was when the first time I ever heard of A New Hope, and I just didn't understand what they were talking about. It took me a second to figure out that it was the first movie, but then on our VCR tape that we had, it just said Star Wars. But yeah, I absolutely love that artwork. That's something that I would love to have framed, like the actual full print of that, nice big photo, or not photo, but painting or whatever, and just frame it. It'd be real nice. Here's a nice one of Yoda, The Empire Strikes Back, really sharp. And you have Luke coming in the background with R2-D2 as he crashed the X-Wing. And then right there, you have the epic duel between Luke and Darth Vader with the Emperor watching. That's pretty awesome. And this right here, oh my God, I don't even know what Boba Fett's riding, but you got Boba Fett right there. It's pretty awesome. Really love that too. So I'm glad they included that, and that's on the bonus disc. And this is an actual really cool image as well. And so this is the second bonus disc, but I just love the facial expression on Han. And just another one. I love these painted images, really sharp. I'd like to find out who did the art on here. And then here's something that the image here, it's kind of, it's not off, but it just reminds me of like cowboys. So you have R2D2, C3PO, but then you have, I don't know who this character is, but literally just reminds me of a cowboy riding a horse. Pretty cool all around. And then you have this, and then let's see, this comes with the guide to the Galaxy Complete Star Wars, and then the store security stuff was in there. So it has this guide to the Complete Star Wars, but then here was the image there, and it was inside of a folder. So you have all the characters right there. Really sharp all around. Big fan of this. So yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Oh man. And then this is right here just gives you all the information. So it's all the bonus disc stuff, the interviews, and it goes through, breaks down to Naboo, Liam Neeson interviews, all this stuff, Tatooine interviews, and different actors for their producers, filming. Let's see, Coruscant. Oh yeah, really sharp all around. I absolutely love everything that they've done here, and love that artwork as well. So that's something that I don't have a ton of artwork. I have, and they're not the original, but I have reproductions of the original movie posters in the full size, and I have those framed up downstairs. So I have those as well, but originals are very expensive. Yeah, that's just that. So yeah, I'd like to get some more artwork, but yeah, that was the entire unboxing of that. It was my first impression. Absolutely love this. Glad to have it. Like I said, realistically, we're going to watch it today. My daughter wanted to watch this specifically, but this is probably just going to end up being a display piece with all the rest of the stuff, because my go-to has been these. Sometimes I do pop in the VCR tapes, but then I also have the regular standard Blu-ray collections of 1 through 6 as well. So we have that. Absolutely love that. Then as we go into some of the stuff, I have this right here. So we talked about this before. So these are home brews. So these are the uncut, despecialized, however you want to call it. These were restored. These were fan made, and they took a lot of time. They took all the information from older film reels that were in theaters, and then they took a lot of stuff from Laserdisc to then kind of repiece this entire thing back together without all of the despecialized stuff, and then they upscaled it to 4K. So these are the 4K versions of it, and then on top of talking about how to make the home brews, I will show you how to do the custom covers as well. So I don't know if that's going to be a separate video. It's something I've been working on forever, but I have had issues with the printer. So I got that all hammered out. And so that video is coming very, very soon. But this is something that when you do it and you make these, you have the opportunity to just create something special and unique for yourself, and having the artwork on the inside, but also having the disc art. So you have some disc art. Then here is something that I know a lot of people have been showing these off, and you can buy these online. Don't buy them. Let's make these. Let's figure out how to make these. And that right there is, just love the interior artwork. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff, and that video is coming very, very soon. But these are home brews. These aren't stuff that you are supposed to be able to buy. There are people that have made these and they're selling them online. So I was like, that's a huge gray area that I don't want to get into. I don't know all the logistics of it, but yeah, don't buy these. Don't buy these. You can make these yourself. But this one here, Empire Strikes Back, you have the original Red Label hi-fi stereo poster there. I absolutely love that. And I have those VCR tapes there. And so this one here, as we open up, this is the Project D80, because that's when it came out, it was 1980. And the Empire Strikes Back disc art there. So yeah, I'll show you how to do all that stuff. It's actually not as difficult as many people think. There's a few steps to get into, but not overall a bad deal. So that right there, absolutely love that. And so that was what I had to have the interior art there. So then that, and then we have Star Wars. So this is how I always knew the film, because that was how I saw the VCR tape when I was a kid, and it is Star Wars. And I absolutely love that original art. And then most people, you know, might notice that the likenesses aren't from the movie. You don't have Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill, because this art was commissioned and this is done before the actors were cast. So that right there is why we have that. But I absolutely love it. It's really just top notch. Beautiful artwork there. And then here we have the disc art. Star Wars. It's really simple all around. But then if you're making this, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And there you go. There's that artwork again. Beautiful. So this is something that, yeah, it's a project. It's a video that's coming very, very soon. Working on it right as we speak. But this is something that I've had for a while in the collection, is these. And so we talk about these special editions, as we talked about the despecialized version. Is I remember when these were sold in stores. I worked at Circuit City as a kid, and so these came out. Then the DVDs also came out in these specialized versions, and just something that I found these years ago, and I wish I had bought these brand new when I worked at the store. But at that time, I was like heavy into DVD. I had just got rid of my VCR and all my VHS tapes. But this is something that, as you hold these, you can pin them up like this. This has been pointed out before by other collectors. You can put it like this. I usually have them sandwiched like this, and so I have some of the VCR tapes in the middle. So you just have that. I really like it. Just super all. Just wonderful all around. And this is the special edition, and this version here is the special edition Star Wars Trilogy, the gold version. And the difference is you got widescreen and full screen. And this came with a free C3PO mini action set. And so it had the mini version of that. And so that's something I've never, I've seen this card, but I've never seen that little toy there. But as you get in here, you open up the gold pack. These are in mint condition here. And then I've been able to find these loose. I find them all the time at thrift stores, but you have the Return of the Jedi special edition. Really sharp all around. Love that gold. This is the digitally mastered THX for superior sound and picture quality. So you have, THX was just a certification that was done by Lucasfilm, Lucas Studios. And so you have Empire Strikes Back. Absolutely love that. And then this one right here, Star Wars, special edition. So just overall really sharp. No, and I don't think I showed this. So this was Empire Strikes Back. And then we flip it over. So then with these, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it is on the silver. It's not the sound. Maybe it's the sound and not the actual format. Let's see. What's the difference? No, I was right. That's right. So this was standard and this was widescreen. That's what it was. It says widescreen right there. That's what it was. So this is something also. You got that right there. But then this, you have the same thing, but it's all in silver now. Widescreen. Star Wars. And then Return of the Jedi. And Empire Strikes Back. Absolutely love these. And then after we did that, then there was these, at the same time that these VCR tapes came out, this box set came out, there was the special edition of the DVDs. And I don't have all of them, but I have a number of these. And so I have the widescreens and the full screen. So I have Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and it's got some great special features. So we keep that around. I am always trying to get the full set. But with the full set, these were in like a little cardboard protective thing, but I never really find that. And the one time I did, it was all banged up and beat up. So we had that, and then Star Wars Episode 2. This is the full screen version. Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. And then this was a full screen as well. So this has got a gold banner. So I don't think there was ever, like, I mean, this was released so many times. I don't remember why it wasn't like the blue with the regular full screen. The actual differences and why that this one here is blue full screen, I can't remember, because you have this one here that's gold and full screen. So I don't know if it's because it was the prequel trilogy, but that's gold and full screen and that's blue and full screen. I really can't remember, other than they just might have been realistically different releases at different times, different box sets. So we have that. But then as we dive into more VCR tapes, I had this. This is something that I found literally for $1. I left the tag on it, 99 cents. And this is one of my all-time favorites because I had never seen this before. And I found this a couple years ago. And this was in mint condition. As we open this up, you have beautiful artwork there on the back. And right there. But then you have all of these here. And so that white, absolutely love that. And this is something that, if that's how they were on store shelves, I probably wouldn't have got into it. But you've had all the different versions so far. This was just kind of a nice difference. And this one here is Return of the Jedi. And there's the back of it. I mean, we've seen that many, many times, but really enjoy this entire set here. Now this one here is black because as you line them up, you can show off the black or the white. But this one here, Empire Strikes Back, just makes sense. And then we have A New Hope as well. So absolutely love this. I love everything that they did. Let's see, put this back in here. So you can have contrast of the characters poking through. And so you have the dark black right here to slide in, and so just really sharp. And then you have the eye poking out, and then the reverse, you have Yoda's eye poking out. Really just absolutely love that. So this is one of my favorite sets. But then this is the stuff that I remember. This is the stuff that I had as a kid. Now these aren't mine personally, and when I did find these, they were in mint condition, but having kids that love Star Wars, these didn't stay in mint condition. And I kind of almost wish that I had them out of reach pretty much as soon as I got these. But I've had these for many years, and these are the Red Label, the CBS Fox, the Fox Video. So we have the Red Label stuff. And this is considered highly sought after because it is the versions of the movie that are the least despecialized or least specialized on the home video format for VHS. Now there was also Betamax of this as well, but I really love that. And so you have the original Star Wars there. Love the yellow. Huge fan of yellow. It's one of my favorite colors, but gotta love that. And that original artwork is just top notch. Now this one here, Return of the Jedi, same thing. That's probably my favorite movie out of all. I know a lot of people say Empire is their favorite movie, and it's really good. It's high up there. Obviously, I love this original trilogy, but that is my all-time favorite movie. I just really got into this one, and that movie poster, and I mean, Princess Leia and the bikini, how could you go wrong? And this one right here. So absolutely love that artwork there. And yes, this is, the Red Label stuff. I very rarely find this, but I actually did find these out in the wild. So I very rarely find this stuff. And usually when I come across them on eBay, they are on the pricier side. So the stuff does exist. They made tons and tons of copies of it. And these are the versions here that were specialized. Let's see. So these two here. So now this is the stuff that, I just have random, and I would like to get a few more of them. But we have the Red Label From Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga. So this is the documentary. Absolutely love this. High recommend for any Star Wars fan to try to track this down. I'm sure you can probably find this on YouTube, but this is just, it was an enjoyable watch for me. Really love it. And I'm a huge fan of documentaries or behind the scenes for movie stuff. And yeah, this is something I've watched quite a few times. Now, this is here, we've showed this off before. This is just another copy of the Red Label of Star Wars. And then, or what was that one? That was Return of the Jedi. But then this is the Silver Label stuff. So I don't really know the actual difference between the two, but I love them. I have them. But we have the Silver Label, CBS Fox there. But this seems like maybe it's an older format. And then you have the red hi-fi stereo digital mastered on the front. That might be the only difference, I guess. And it also says mono compatible. And so I only have these two. I don't have Return of the Jedi in these versions, but absolutely love these. And, once in a blue moon, I've popped them in, but it's something that it just kind of gets put in as background noise. But yeah, really, really do enjoy having those. Love the artwork on all that stuff. Now here's the stuff that I remember it being specialized. So there's some changes in here. I don't know if these are full on like all the different additions that were added to this, but you have artwork that for me, I guess it worked at the time, but it's not my favorite. Definitely not my favorite. This is the stuff I remember seeing in the stores when I worked at Circuit City. But then, yeah, it says A New Hope right there. So even though you're just getting Star Wars there, it's just still after they called it A New Hope. And they got THX certified. I think this has like the surround sound stuff going on. It just says it's been modified to fit your screen. It doesn't mention anything about any specialized version, but obviously this was after they started changing things. And then you have Return of the Jedi. And I don't mind the purple, but overall, I like the original art stuff better. And then Empire Strikes Back. I think out of all of these three, that's probably my favorite image, and the art there, just really cool. But then we have these, and this is a different version of it, and so a whole different collection. I only have the first two, and it's Phantom Menace and what's this one? Attack of the Clones. So only have those ones. And again, it's not horrible, not the worst stuff we've ever seen, but I don't know if this was in part of maybe like a box set like this. So I don't know if it was in like a whole thing, because this is how I found them. But I was like, I don't even remember seeing these in stores like this. So maybe they were like that, but yeah, that was it there. All right, so the next ones here are the Blu-rays. Now these ones were fine. They were fine for a while, but as I was watching them, and I had these in the collection, these were the only Star Wars movies that I had, because I bought them right after I got out of the Navy, and so they were pleasant to have in the collection. But the frustrating thing for me was trying to revisit that memory of watching the older versions of them and not having all the extra stuff. And so even though I thought these were perfectly fine, that's why I was looking for these older VHS tapes, and then eventually getting the despecialized versions. And so this is something that, we pop in every once in a while and revisit, but I do prefer the newer 4K that I homebrew. And so there's that. And it comes with 6 discs, tons of special features, and that's something that I still appreciate these. I'm never going to get rid of them, but yeah, definitely all-time favorites. For the longest time was these Blu-rays, because I just loved the high-quality picture on them, but then it was just that longing for the despecialized version. So then here with A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, you just have that. That's your artwork, these Blu-rays, and I'm sure many people have already had these before. But yeah, another 6 discs, tons of special features. And then the one thing about these, and I didn't point that out, is very lackluster, very plain, no artwork. And, I don't know, for Star Wars, most people treat it like an event. It means so much to so many people. It's one of those things that, where was the extra effort on the discs? Maybe it's a nitpicky thing, but it's something that I kind of always felt was lacking on it. It really should have had the artwork. So we have that. And then the very last thing that I have is something that I picked up when Toys R Us was going out of business. And they're not really, I mean, they're still around, I guess, but like when the stores were all closing down, everything was like in super clearance, because this was in this big giant box set and it had these like minifigures and stuff. And throughout the years, my kids have taken those minifigures and I don't know where they are. But this is the thing that I wanted. And so I really didn't even care about the minifigures, but it was this. So it was a Rancor. So this is something that it just literally sits on the shelf. For a long time, I had it sitting on top of my TV and just kind of hanging over, but it kind of gets distracting. So now this sits on the very, very top shelf with all my other Star Wars stuff, the statues and that. And so this is something that almost never gets seen or shown off. But yeah, the Rancor toy, you know, it just kind of goes with the whole thing. And yeah, big fan of the whole thing. That was my entire Star Wars collection in the movies and some of the memorabilia that I have. Let me know what your favorites are. If you have memorabilia outside the movies, let me know what you're collecting. But with that, you're going to want to check out this video right here. And remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.